Here's the deal, guys. Game Pass isn't free. Redfall isn't free. Critique the game, not the means you got it or the financial side of things, right? At the end of the day, when all is said and done, they're selling Redfall as a AAA game. Okay, if you don't have Game Pass. And if you do have Game Pass, and if you're like me, you more than likely have played through every game on that motherfucker that you're actually interested in. And even though I may have already gotten my value out of Game Pass, that's in the past. The value going forward for many of us is hoping that these day one games aren't going to be ass. The value for Game Pass going forward, since exhausting all the games I wanted to play, is that the games that they're adding in the future are going to be worth playing. However, these companies and their armies of influencer shills have convinced you to believe not to expect too much from these Game Pass games, that they're so-called free or some sort of a bonus, when the reality is Xbox has pitched this in a way to incentivize us buying an Xbox Series X or S. And while I still do think Game Pass is a good value, if enough of you suckers buy into this bullshit, like you bought into the microtransaction bullshit, like you bought into the only pre-orders and day one buys matter, as long as you don't do that, we won't have these day one train wrecks. When the reality is they already did the math, they already assessed the risks. That's just the way they're going to get down. That's just the way they're going to do business in this day and age, whether you're buying it day one or not. Way too many people have bought into the bullshit that it's unreasonable to expect a big AAA game to release without a lot of issues. That day one or day 7 or day 21 patches are to be expected, when the reality is it's the entire launch window that matters most. And the only way to get a win is to stop buying from certain companies altogether. Day 1, day 100, day 1,000, it doesn't matter, just stop doing business with them. But the point I'm trying to make is, if you start buying into this bullshit too, that these games are free or you shouldn't expect much from them, well, guess what? You're going to get garbage, and you're going to continue to get garbage month after month after month after month. The more you listen to these influencers, the less common sense you end up with. I suggest to you to tune them out and start figuring things out for yourself, because this industry has gone to shit. Greed has gotten out of control. I understand, like in all forms of business, there's greed, but this is different. We have a lot less, or I should say a lot fewer options when things go wrong than we do in many other forms of business. We have to sit there at the mercy of these developers to push out updates that will fix their game and put it in a shape that it should have been at launch, and all these other things. So this is just one more thing that they're conditioning you to believe that's going to be against your best interest in the long run. And it's sad that a lot of you just can't see it for what it is, and by the time you do, it's going to be too late.